I am still with thee. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me, and know my thoughts. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. There is in every person an inward sea, and in that sea there is an island, and on that island there is an altar. Standing guard before that altar is the angel with the flaming sword. Nothing can get by that angel to be placed upon that altar unless it has the mark of your inner authority. Nothing passes the angel with the flaming sword to be placed upon your altar unless it is a part of the fluid area of your consent. This is your crucial link with the eternal. To Jesus, God breathes through all that is. The sparrow overcome by sudden death in its evening flight, the lily blossoming on the rocky hillside, the grass of the field and the garden path, the clouds light and burdenless, or weighted down with unshed waters, the madman in chains, or wandering among the barren rocks in the wasteland, the little baby in his mother's arms, the strutting arrogance of the Roman legion, the brazen queries of the craven tax collector, the children at play of the old men quibbling in the marketplace, the august Sanhedrin fighting for its life amidst the impudences of empire, the futile whisper of those who have forgotten Jerusalem, the fear voice, utterance of the prophet who remembers. To Jesus, God breathes through all that is. To him, God was creator of life and of the living substance, the living stream upon which all things move, the mind containing time, space, and all their multitudinous offspring. And beyond all these, God is friend and Father. The time most precious for him was at close of day. This was the time for the long breath when all the fragments left by the commonplace, when all the little hurts and the big aches could be absorbed, and the mind could be freed of the immediate demand, when voices that had been quieted by the long day's work could once more be heard, when there could be the deep sharing of the innermost secrets and the laying bare of the heart and the mind. Yes, the time most precious for him was at close of day. But there were other times he treasured, a great while before day, says the book. The night had been long and wearisome because the day had been full of niggling annoyances. The high resolve of some winged moment had frenzied, panicked, no longer sure, no longer free, and then it vanished as it had never vanished. There was need, the utter urgency for some fresh assurance, the healing touch of a healing wing. A great while before day, he found his way to the quiet place on the hill and prayed. I had a very strange experience in getting here. Not getting here, but getting here. I had worked rather hard on a series that I was due. I had announced it, and then I felt that I didn't want to do it, and I was embarrassed because at my age, you don't have a lot of hours just to do something and then don't do it. But I just couldn't do it. So I'm striking out in another direction. I want to think, first of all, tonight about the meaning of religious experience. And perhaps finally, in the last few minutes, about the meaning of the religious experience to Jesus. There is something so very private and personal and intimate about the religious experience. It is in a very paradoxical way, it seems to me, a time when it is as if the individual were alone in all the universe, and yet at the center of the experience, he seems to be a part of everything that is. It's a strange paradox. It's private, it's personal, it's intimate, it is the experience of stripping, laying bare, of revealing whatever there is that is intimate and literal and elemental, primary, all the words hide in one's mind. It's a naked time. When pretensions disintegrate, when one runs the risk of being himself. In the presence of God. And there's something very terrifying about it. Because to feel oneself be as one is looking upon oneself from the other side, where there is no activity, no functioning, no pretension. Completely exposed, completely vulnerable. And completely secure. Now I think then at the center, at the core of religious experience, one comes upon what in my language is the awareness of the givenness of God. Think about it. The givenness of God. It is not merely an act of will, for will may be involved. It is not merely a dimension of reflective thinking, because reflective thinking may be involved. It is where one becomes aware of God as a part of one's own deep inner landscape. For it seems to me, and I do not wish to seem to speak even irreverently, but I felt for a long time that God is very shy. Of course, I know in all the vast rumblings of creating a universe, all of these things that we are seeing and hearing, the whole structure of existence, the anatomy of existence. But God seeps into the awareness. Blending with my innermost landscape. And suddenly I realized that always He has been there. Always. The awareness of the givenness of God. Now, it is the nature of the mind, pardon me, I know this has been a long day, and it's the end of the day, and whatever other things that may be going on in your mind that you can't begin to be as tired as I am. So just do the best you can, because that's what I'm doing. Yeah? But if you really get weary, it's all right to take a quick nap. But do it quietly. One of the things that seems to me always to be a hindrance to any feeling, tone about the quality of what I'm thinking and feeling is the mind. The mind is a very wonderful thing, but it's a trickster. It's very late coming. We got our minds about 30 seconds ago. It's all new, frisky. Looking for proof. That shows its insecurity. You don't try to prove the things which you're sure. But the mind, you see, insists that the religious experience must validate itself. It must become an object of thought. Now, in order for religious experience to become an object of thought, it has to be imprisoned. Now, follow me carefully, please. It has to be imprisoned. It has to, because religious experience is fluid, it's moving, it's dynamic. There is at the heart of it the pulse beat of creative urgency. It's alive, like the aliveness of life. But it's moved so rapidly that the mind can't draw a bead on it. So it has to be trapped. Then the mind can draw a bead on it and extract what? Doctrine, dogma, theology, principles of rationalization. For all dogmas, all theologies, all creeds, however crucial they are for the enrichment of the common life, even for the redemption of the human spirit, all doctrines, all dogmas, all creeds are inventions of the mind. They are what the mind does with the fluid creativity of religious experience. Therefore, all dogma, all creed, all theology are just a little out of date. They describe, they depict what was when the moving, rhythmic pattern of dynamic religious experience was trapped temporarily. Meanwhile, the religious experience goes on experiencing. So you're always going through the difficult job of making religious experience an object of thought, so that to yourself you can seem to be rational as you try to feel it with your mind, if I may be contradictory. But it always escapes. So what do? We set up a whole series of little laboratories so that we can make dry run. Check it out. But always we see that the test of the religious experience can never be found in that which is pragmatic and empirical. Which is not to say that as long as there is mind functioning, there will be the effort to reduce it to that which is empirical and pragmatic. But the test of it is not there. But I'm never relieved from the necessity for trying to prove it that way. So, even in the book it says, by their fruits you shall know them. This is what the book says, dealing with this whole question of a pragmatic checking out of the validity of the religious experience. For the moment you see that the religious experience becomes an object of thought, so that I can talk to you about it as I'm talking about it now. You know and I know that I'm talking around it. Now, one or two more steps. It is for this reason that in prayer, meditation, and there was a time that I would use the word meditation without self-consciousness, but I can't use it now because I know what I'm talking about, but nobody else does, because everybody's talking about what it has come to mean, and this is good. But in prayer and in meditation, what we are always trying to accomplish, to experience, what we are always trying to become aware of is the presence of God. And therefore, all of the disciplines that we use are meant to ready us so that there will be a climate within us in which God may assert himself without embarrassment. But the curious thing is that there is no necessitous, mark my words, please, there is no necessitous relationship between all the disciplines, all the preparation, and the coming of the awareness of God. Now I want you to hear this, and don't disagree with it or agree with it. Just hear it and leave it alone. It'll take care of itself. That all of the disciplines, all of the preparation, all of the spiritual exercise, all of these things are part of the readying, the sensitizing of the spirit, so that we may become aware of God's presence. But there is no necessitous relationship between the preparation and the awareness. If you don't get anything else, help me, please, by getting this. I say that there is no necessitous relationship between all of the disciplines, all of the spiritual exercise, all of the meditation, all of this, however you phrase it, and the awareness of the presence of God. Only one of the mystics with whom I am familiar, in one place seemed to suggest something to the contrary. And you may remember there is one passage in Eckhart in which he says that if a man rids himself of creatureliness, God automatically fills him up. That God is put in a situation in which he can't help it. But consistently, it is the description, the statement of the journey in the inward region that I have only one responsibility, and that is to ready myself. There is a vast creative mystery about the Spirit. For around any road, anywhere, anytime, a man may come upon the burning bush and hear a voice say, "Take off your shoes, because the place where you are now standing, doing what you're now doing, is a holy place." And you didn't know it. He comes after the pattern of his own inner disposition, if I may dare use a word like that. I can't chart his course. The only thing I can do is to be there at the pass, waiting. He may not come, and I've prayed my heart out. I've done everything. Or he may come when he's the last person in the world I'm thinking of. There's something eerie and mysterious and marvelous about the freedom of the Creator of existence, for he binds existence and can move according to his principle as he will within the throbbing context of his creation. Now the Master saw this. You remember? He tells a story, the Master tells a story about a man who decided that he was going on a trip. And he knew he was going to spend quite a bit of money. So he called 3, I believe the Master said, of his prime movers to him. He said, "I'm going away and I'm going to do some high spending. And when I come back, I'll need to recoup. So here's $100. Here's 75, here's 25. Report when I get back." So finally he came back. You remember? But he came back. First man said, "You gave me $100, here's $125.90. Good. Man to whom he gave $75, said, "Here's $80.50. Good. The man to whom he gave $25 was the only man who made a speech. Now he said, "You may not know it, but you have a bad reputation. You reap where you haven't planted, you clip coupons we had it invested. And I knew this, so I hid it so I could watch it every day. And when the word came to you to come back, I brought it, here it is. And the master said that he put him off of his place, cast him into outer darkness where there's wailing and gnashing of teeth. Why? Why? Not because he did not show any increase, no. But because he didn't work at it. The only responsibility he has is to work at it. God moves as God moves. And he will not jump when I pull the string. He will hear me cry. He will find ointment for my bruises, perhaps. But he's God. He's God. All of my life, I've tried to get a clue. So that in my own moments of greatest desperation, I would know which word to use to be the magic word. But I've never found out. I've never found out. So where did it come? Into the little village where Jesus lived. So there was a man, John the Baptizer, preaching at the Jordan. And Jesus joined the group with the others. Why? I wonder what was going through his mind as he journeyed to the Jordan River. I wish I knew. And he presented himself to John to be baptized. And when he did, it is written in the book that as he came up out of the water, the heavens opened, and the Spirit of God descended upon him like a dove. And he, not the disciples, not John, he heard the voice. In the language of his own heart. You have made me very happy. My son, private, personal, intimate, primary, naked. As if he and his Father alone existed in that moment of time. A curse on him who relies on man, who depends depends upon mere human aid. For he is like some desert scrub that never thrives, set in a solitary place in the steppes. But happy is he who relies on God. God. Who has God or is confident? For he is like a tree planted beside a stream, sending his roots down to the water. He has no fear of scorching heat. His leaves are always green. He goes on bearing fruit, and all around him is barren. And he looks out on life with quiet eyes.